Did you know that Tennessee stretches nearly 500 miles from the Appalachian Mountains to the Mississippi River? Or that beneath its forests lies a hidden underground world larger than many cities? Or that the land itself shaped the music, culture, and identity that the world now associates with America? Tennessee is not loud about its greatness. It doesn't announce itself with skyscrapers or deserts or coastlines. Instead, it reveals itself slowly through mist-covered ridges, winding rivers, and stories passed down through sound. If you enjoy cinematic journeys like this, make sure to subscribe to GlobeX for more deep dives into the states that shaped America. And as we go, comment if you'd actually live here, mountains, rivers, storms, and music included. Now let's begin with 25 incredible facts about the state of Tennessee. Fact 25. 3 grand divisions, 3 different Tennessees. Tennessee is officially divided into 3 grand divisions, East, Middle, and West Tennessee, and the differences are more than just geography. East Tennessee is dominated by the Appalachian Mountains, where narrow valleys, steep ridges, and dense forests shape both the land and the people. Middle Tennessee is defined by rolling limestone hills, fertile basins, and long-established farms and towns. West Tennessee flattens into rich alluvial plains shaped by the Mississippi River's floods over thousands of years. These divisions influence accents, food, politics, music, and even how people view the rest of the state. Someone from the Smokies lives in a different physical and cultural world than someone along the Mississippi. In many ways, Tennessee isn't one state. It's 3 landscapes sharing one name. Fact 24. The ancient Appalachian Mountains. The mountains of East Tennessee are among the oldest on Earth. Formed more than 480 million years ago, they once rivaled the height of today's Himalayas, long before dinosaurs ever walked the planet. Over time, erosion softened their peaks, creating the rounded ridges and deep valleys seen today. This age gives the Appalachians a unique presence. They don't feel sharp or aggressive, they feel patient. Mist lingers in their hollows. Streams follow paths carved long before humans existed. When you walk these mountains, you're walking across deep time, on land that has already seen entire worlds rise and disappear. Fact 23. The Great Smoky Mountains Living Archive. Great Smoky Mountains National Park is the most visited national park in the United States, but its real importance goes far beyond tourism. It is one of the most biologically diverse places in North America. More than 19,000 species have been documented here, and scientists believe tens of thousands more remain undiscovered. The park contains more species of trees than all of Europe combined. Some of its forests are truly ancient, untouched since before European settlement. The park's famous blue haze comes from moisture and natural compounds released by dense vegetation. It's not smoke, it's life itself, rising into the air. Fact 22. A state built on stone and water. Much of Tennessee rests on limestone bedrock, a rock that dissolves slowly when exposed to water. Over millions of years, rain and rivers carved the land from below, forming sinkholes, springs, and caves. This process created one of the most cave-dense regions in North America. Some caves stretch for miles underground. Others hide rivers, waterfalls, and chambers so large they feel cathedral-like. Above ground, the land looks calm. Below ground, it's constantly changing. Tennessee is shaped as much by what you can't see as by what you can. Fact 21. The meaning of the volunteer state. Tennessee earned the nickname the Volunteer State during the War of 1812, when thousands of men volunteered for military service without being drafted. That willingness to step forward became part of the state's identity. Over time, the word volunteer came to mean more than military service. It became about community response, neighbors helping neighbors, towns rebuilding after storms, people stepping up without being asked. In Tennessee, volunteering isn't viewed as extraordinary. It's expected and, quietly, respected. Fact 20. Earthquakes beneath the Delta. West Tennessee lies atop the New Madrid seismic zone, one of the most dangerous earthquake regions in North America. Between 1811 and 1812, a series of massive earthquakes reshaped the land. The Mississippi River reportedly flowed backward. Church bells rang in cities hundreds of miles away, entire sections of land sank or rose. Though the region appears calm today, seismic energy still builds beneath the surface. Tennessee's greatest geological threat is invisible, waiting beneath fields and towns that seem perfectly still. Fact 19. The Mississippi River's power. The Mississippi River defines Tennessee's western border and has shaped its destiny for thousands of years. Its floods deposited rich soil that turned the region into fertile farmland. But those same floods also erased towns, changed boundaries, and forced people to adapt. The river never stays still. It shifts, bends, and carves new paths, leaving behind oxbow lakes and abandoned channels. In West Tennessee, the land is constantly negotiating with water. Fact 18. Music born from movement. Tennessee's geography turned it into a crossroads. Rivers, trails, and valleys carried people and sound from place to place. As cultures mixed, music evolved. African rhythms, European instruments, and Appalachian storytelling blended into blues, country, gospel, and rock and roll. Music in Tennessee wasn't invented. It emerged naturally, shaped by land, labor, and movement. Fact 17. Bristol, where country music took its first breath. In the summer of 1927, a quiet Tennessee town changed American music forever. In Bristol, recording equipment was set up to capture the voices and instruments of everyday people. Farmers, laborers, families who carried music as memory rather than profession. These sessions recorded fiddles, banjos, and harmonies shaped by the Appalachian Mountains themselves. The songs told stories of love, loss, faith, and survival, themes rooted deeply in the land and its people. When these recordings were broadcast nationwide, they introduced the world to what would become country music. What made Bristol special wasn't polish or performance, it was honesty. The sound carried the echo of mountain hollows, front porches, and long evenings spent telling stories through song. Country music didn't begin in a studio. It began in the hills of Tennessee, shaped by geography, hardship, and heart, and Bristol became the place where it finally found its voice. Fact 16. Rivers that built Tennessee's cities. Long before highways or railroads, rivers were Tennessee's lifelines. The Tennessee River curves across the state in a massive arc, touching cities like Knoxville and Chattanooga, and shaping where people settled and stayed. These waterways powered mills, carried goods, and connected communities that would have otherwise remained isolated. Riverbanks became gathering places for trade, storytelling, and survival. Entire towns rose where currents slowed and crossings were possible, but rivers also demanded respect. Floods destroyed settlements, forcing people to rebuild again and again. Over time, dams reshaped the river's power, bringing electricity and industry while changing natural flow. Even today, the Tennessee River defines movement, energy, and memory. It is a reminder that Tennessee didn't grow outward from roads, it grew inward from water. Fact 15. Ancient native homelands. Beneath modern Tennessee. Long before Tennessee was mapped or named, it was home to thriving native nations, including the Cherokee, Chickasaw, and Creek peoples. They built villages near rivers, created trade networks across the region, and understood the land in ways modern settlers never could. Ancient trails carved through valleys became the foundations of modern roads. River crossings used for centuries later became city centers. Even today, many towns unknowingly sit atop former native settlements and ceremonial grounds. Forced removal during the 19th century tore these nations from their homeland, but the land never forgot them. Mounds, artifacts, and sacred sites remain scattered across the state, silent witnesses to a deeper history. Tennessee's story did not begin with statehood or settlement. It began thousands of years earlier, written into the soil, rivers, and ridges by people who understood the land as living, not owned. Fact 14. Moonshine and mountain survival. In Tennessee's remote hills, moonshine wasn't rebellion, it was survival. Families used distilling to preserve crops and earn income. Over time, that outlaw tradition evolved into legal whiskey making, shaping one of the state's most famous industries. Fact 13. A state of hidden waterfalls. Thanks to elevation changes and heavy rainfall, Tennessee has hundreds of waterfalls. Many only appear after storms, vanishing again into rock and forest. They're reminders that Tennessee's beauty often reveals itself briefly, then disappears. Fact 12. Nashville, a city built on stories. Nashville is often called Music City, but at its core, it is a city of writers. Behind every hit song is a quiet room where stories are shaped line by line, often by people whose names never reach the spotlight. The city's songwriting tradition values honesty over perfection. Songs about heartbreak, faith, struggle, joy, and survival. This culture didn't appear overnight. It grew slowly, fueled by radio, recording studios, and the steady migration of musicians drawn by the city's creative gravity. Nashville's sound is not defined by one genre. It is defined by storytelling, words set to music, carried far beyond Tennessee's borders. Fact 11. Memphis and the birth of the blues. Memphis sits where Tennessee meets the Mississippi Delta, and that geography shaped its sound. The blues emerged here as an expression of hardship, resilience, and truth. On Beale Street, musicians blended African rhythms with American instruments, creating music that spoke directly to the soul. That sound traveled north and west, influencing jazz, rock and roll, and modern popular music. What began as local expression became global language. In Memphis, music was never entertainment alone. It was survival, release, and identity. Fact 10. A state. Torn by the Civil War. Tennessee was deeply divided during the Civil War. It saw more battles than any state except Virginia, and loyalties often split families and communities. East Tennessee largely opposed secession, while Middle and West Tennessee leaned toward the Confederacy. These divisions weren't abstract. They were personal. Neighbors fought neighbors, brothers fought brothers. Even today, echoes of those divisions can still be felt in regional identity and memory. Tennessee's land remembers conflict, even as it grows past it. Fact 9. Oak Ridge and the Secret City. During World War II, Oak Ridge, Tennessee was built almost overnight as part of the Manhattan Project. Entire communities were displaced, and thousands of workers arrived without knowing what they were building. The city existed in secrecy, surrounded by fences and guarded checkpoints. What they helped create changed the course of history. Only after the war did many residents learn their role in the atomic age. Oak Ridge stands as a reminder that Tennessee has played a quiet but pivotal role in global events. Fact 8. The Cumberland Plateau. The Cumberland Plateau cuts across Tennessee like a raised table of rock and forest. Its cliffs, gorges, and waterfalls create some of the state's most rugged terrain. This region resisted development for centuries, preserving deep forests and remote communities. Here, nature still leads. Roads bend around cliffs. Towns remain small. The land dictates the rhythm of life, just as it has for generations. Fact 7. Fireflies that move as one. In the Great Smoky Mountains, a rare natural phenomenon occurs each summer. For a few weeks, thousands of fireflies blink in perfect synchronization. Their lights pulse together, turning the forest into a living constellation. Scientists still study why this happens. Visitors travel from around the world to witness it. But for those who see it in silence, it feels less like science and more like magic. Fact 6. Roads older than the state. Many of Tennessee's modern highways follow paths once walked by native peoples. These trails became trade routes, wagon roads, and eventually paved highways. Movement shaped Tennessee long before cars arrived. The land remembers footsteps, not just tire tracks. Travel here has always been about connection. Fact 5. The power of rural Tennessee. Much of Tennessee remains rural, forested, and deeply tied to the land. Beyond the cities and highways, small towns stretch across valleys and plateaus where life moves at a slower, more deliberate pace. Here, family names carry weight, and generations often live within miles of one another. Agriculture still shapes daily life, from cattle grazing in open fields to corn and soybeans rising from fertile soil. Front porches aren't decorative, they're gathering places. Churches, local diners, and high school football fields anchor entire communities. In rural Tennessee, people know the land intimately. When storms are coming, when rivers rise, when the soil is ready. There is resilience here, built from years of adapting to weather, isolation, and change. This quiet strength doesn't make headlines, but it forms the backbone of the state, steady, grounded, and enduring. Fact 4. Where the South meets Appalachia. Tennessee occupies a rare cultural crossroads. It is both Appalachian and Southern, and neither entirely. In the East, mountain traditions emphasize self-reliance, storytelling, and close-knit kinship. In the West and Middle regions, Southern customs bring hospitality, rhythm, and deep agricultural roots. These cultures overlap and blend, shaping everything from food to music to speech. You can hear it in the drawl of a sentence, taste it in slow-cooked meals, and see it in the way people treat strangers like neighbors. This blending created something uniquely Tennessean, not borrowed, not copied, but grown from place and time. It's a culture shaped by hills and rivers, by isolation and connection. Tennessee doesn't choose between Appalachia and the South. It carries both, and becomes stronger because of it. Fact 3. Towns older than the state itself. Long before Tennessee became a state, settlements were already taking shape along rivers, trails, and natural crossings. Towns like Jonesboro and Greenville existed before statehood, serving as trading posts, frontier hubs, and political centers. Their streets follow paths carved by wagons and footsteps, not planners. Historic homes still stand where early settlers built them, overlooking the same valleys and rivers. In these places, history isn't sealed behind glass. It's woven into everyday life. Walking through these towns feels like stepping into layered time, where past and present exist side by side. They remind us that Tennessee's story didn't begin with borders or governments. It began with movement, survival, and the search for home. Fact 2. The rhythm of the land. Tennessee moves to a rhythm set by nature. Rivers rise and fall with the seasons. Mountains remain unchanged while towns grow around them. Forests breathe through cycles of green, gold, and bare branches. This rhythm shapes the people. There is patience here, an understanding that not everything needs to be rushed. Time is measured in seasons, not seconds. Even in cities, that slower pulse remains. Storms are watched, not ignored. Sunsets are noticed. The land teaches balance between work and rest, noise and silence. In Tennessee, the rhythm isn't imposed. It's inherited. Fact 1. The spirit of Tennessee. Tennessee is a state that hums, not loudly but constantly. Mountains hold echoes of old songs. Rivers remember every footstep along their banks. Music rises from front porches, church halls, back rooms, and city streets, passed down not for fame, but for feeling. This is a land shaped first by geography, then by resilience, and finally, by story. It has known hardship, division, celebration, and rebirth. And through it all, it has endured, steady and unshaken. Tennessee doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need to. Its strength is quiet. Its beauty unfolds slowly. And once you've walked its ridges, heard its music, or felt the stillness of its valleys, you understand something lasting. Tennessee isn't just a place you visit. It's a place that stays with you long after the road bends away. And there you have it, 25 incredible facts about the state of Tennessee. A place of mountains and rivers, music and memory, quiet strength, and lasting stories. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to subscribe to GlobeX for more cinematic explorations across America, and comment if you'd live here, because some places don't just show you where you are, they remind you who you are.